Christian Danner with USA Today Sports here with potential first round wideout out of the University of Washington, Denzel Boston. First and foremost, Denzel, how are you doing and how are you feeling with the draft less than a week away?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction. I'm doing real good though. I'm feeling good. Had some great talks over these last weeks for my 30 visits,
Yeah.
so I'm very excited, to see where everything lands.
Okay. About how many teams would you say you've met with this past week?
Met with 11. I've
Yeah.
been on the road since last Monday, just flight to flight.
Yeah. So you're picking up those miles right now. You're going to spend them somewhere nice, take a little time after the draft, go someplace.
Well, I got 10,000 miles between two different apps. I'll for sure, not miles, points. So I'll for sure be
Oh,
using those when I had the time.
beautiful, man. Well, let's get right into it. Now, you've caught some passes from a left-handed quarterback, Michael Penix. You caught passes from a right-handed quarterback, Damon Williams. Is there a difference between how you view your quarterbacks based on the way they're thrown, righty or lefty?
No, I don't think there's a difference to the way I view it. The only thing that you have to be aware of is like I feel like go balls on the
Yeah.
outside, especially. I feel like, from a left-handed quarterback, it's gonna feel different coming over your head versus a right-handed quarterback. So, but we like when Mike was there, we switched the jug machine to spin lefty. So then we
Okay.
kind of get a better understanding of the torque of the ball and everything. But no, it doesn't change the way I view quarterbacks at all.
All right, so on those out routes where they got a little bit more ground to cover, if you're a lefty throwing to the right or if you're a righty throwing to the left, is there anything that you got to be extra careful about where there is just a little bit more distance for them? Like, do you need to take that into account anyway, or is it just like, no, we're good?
For me, it's just the ball coming out of the quarterback's hand. It's not nothing the special about it. You know what I mean? It's just go catch that rock.
Okay. I don't want to harp on the past too much, but you came in with the Huskies with a trio of NFL wideouts ahead of you on the depth chart. What did being able to grind against Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan and Jalen Polk, what did that mean for you every day in practice those first 2 years?
They had a standard in the room, and for me, it was I got to be that standard. Rome goes down, I'm the next guy up, so I need to be able to go run that. We had a saying, it's a 42-6 or something like that. It was a good relay time at the end of the day. Whatever the good relay time was, it was basically saying that no matter who's in the game, we still got to run that relay time. So for me, every day it was just being able to be around those guys, learn, soak up what I can, and have an understanding that if one goes down, I got to be ready to go run that good time.
Okay, so you guys were a 4x1 team on your own then.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like you said that 42-6, you talking about like a 4x100 relay or?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Just making sure. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I got some track reps from back in the day. Not no more. I'm getting a little chunky here, but way back when. All right. So that's part of it. You played that patient game, right? And you sat and you waited, and you stuck it out at Washington, even though you clearly had a lot of talent. What made you stick around, not enter the portal, not jump somewhere else when obviously there were a ton of opportunities to do so?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the relationships that I built in that building, and the community that I had around me, being able to be a hometown dog,
Yeah.
something very special to me. And not only that, like the standard that they set in the room once again, I
Right.
didn't want that to die off, because we had our whole room. We also had Jeremy Bernard, you had
Mhm.
Giles Jackson and me,
Yeah.
under those three. So, I wanted to stick it out, continue that standard, and continue to just try and produce good receivers coming out of Washington and kind of start a new trend.
Okay, so you kind of want to make Washington the Ohio State of the Big Ten that entered the Big Ten.
I mean, I don't want to put us up against nobody, but we could still be another wide receiver U in college football.
I mean, it's panning out that way. I already punched out a bunch of talent. And there's one guy I do see in your game with your ability to box guys out and turn 50-50 balls into 75-25 balls, high pointing. And that's, you got a lot of that Romo Dunze in you in the best possible way, which obviously there are a lot of good ways. He's going to be killing it next season. I got big plans for him on my fantasy team with the Bears. That aside, what's the secret sauce when you get downfield and you make those big plays? Maybe you got a guy hanging all over you, but you're able to clear space and get to the ball. How do you do that? What's your go-to?
I think that comes to the preparation and the training before the game. I feel you reap the benefits of the work that you put in before. So preparing yourself for those moments, like making sure that you're getting all those reps in practice and getting every angle of catch, just keeps you, and also keeping that hand-eye coordination. For me, it was tennis ball machines. Um,
Okay.
I think that's what really benefited me to be able to make those plays.
Okay. A lot of hand strength. Are you doing anything in the gym like to get your grip strength up, or is it just this is more like the coordination rather than pure strength?
Yeah, we would do plate holds with our
Okay.
fingertips, the plate holds, also the rice bucket. Gotta get in that rice bucket. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
that was one for me for sure.
All right. What's one route you run better than anyone else in this draft? If you had to stake your whole reputation on one single route, what's it going to be?
High long post.
Okay.
High long post.
Classic.
Yeah, that's that. I'll put money on down on that for sure.
Okay. One of the big questions that's kind of followed you through the pre-draft process, fair or not, is that separation skill. So when you're running a route, obviously you're checking up on your cornerback. Is there anything that they do that you see where you're like, all right, I'm going to break this up? Is there any kind of vision that you get, any kind of sign that you get from a cornerback that lets you know I can make this move and I can win 100% of the time?
Oh yeah, just right off the bat, when you get runoffs, being able to
Yeah.
use certain releases and seeing how they move their hips and how what their focus point is on you. Once you figure that out, I feel like it's a lot easier to kind of fake one way, go the other way, and make them go somewhere where you don't want, like make them go somewhere where
Mhm.
you want them to go so that you can go have a successful run.
Okay. And speaking of that, where you're able to freestyle a little bit more, one of your biggest strengths has been your ability to get on the same page with your quarterback, right? He's scrambling, he's in trouble, and you know where to be. You know how to sync up with him and get there. How do you build that rapport so quickly? Because obviously you've had a few different quarterbacks in your college career. What's the key to understanding where your quarterback's going to be and where, more importantly, he needs you to be?
Yeah, I think for me, well, me and Damon, we used to always be in the film room together. We
Yeah.
used to always be with each other, even in game. We're sitting there on the iPad. Hey, this is what I see when I'm rolling out this way. I want you to go here. Watching film, seeing where defenses like where they're lacking, where they're slacking, when it comes to the scramble drill, and understanding where the open pockets are going to be.
Yeah.
That's what gets me prepared for those moments and be able to make those plays on the scramble drill.
It's clear you're huge on preparation. If you could just ballpark, how many hours a week are you putting in between practice, weight room, and film study?
Practice weight room film study. We got to go at least close to 60 hours,
Oof.
put all that stuff together. I mean, I remember I was in the when I this last year, I was in the facility getting there at about 7 a.m., not leaving till about 9:30 p.m. So
Oof.
that whole time it's taking care of my body. We have
Yeah.
practice meetings and then also just extracurricular meetings, whether I'm bringing the receivers along to get some
Yeah.
extra meetings or, the me and the quarterback and the other receivers and tight ends are meeting. So yeah, a lot of hours. I'll definitely put 60 on there for sure.
All right. So you're in the facility this whole time. What are you eating while you're there? I mean, they got a good snack tray. They got meals coming in and going for you.
Yeah, we got great snacks, all healthy
Yeah.
snacks.
Okay.
Just all downstairs for us, down by like where we hang out in the players' lounge and
Yeah.
stuff. And we also have a DJC center, which is like our cafeteria. So we get 3 meals a day throughout the year. And we basically just all we eat there. That's where we get our
Okay.
nutrition and that's how we stay fit.
All right. They doing any cheat meals for you there? Or you have to go off campus for that.
We gotta go off campus for the cheat meals. They're not just gonna funnel us a cheat meal for free now.
All right. What's your go-to cheat meal then?
Go to cheat meal. Ooh, probably just a good burger for me. Just a good
Yeah.
smash burger. Like Shake Shack was nearby. Definitely go over there, get a good
Good
smash
choice. Yeah.
burger. And they got a few like I don't know. There's a lot of Asian descent food,
Yeah.
Korean food over in Seattle. So go get some pho or some brisket and pho. Like this is real fatty and a great meal to eat for
All
cheap.
right. Well, since we're talking about food and we're also talking about maybe going out with your boys and having to split a big meal, I know you're here as a courtesy of PayPal, and they were super nice, letting me have this interview with you because of that. So, what made you choose to, get connected with PayPal? What does that mean to you being able to, split bills with your boys or pay for things? For me, it's always fantasy dues that I'm paying through PayPal. Never seeing it back. 'Cause I'm terrible at fantasy, but what brought you to this partnership?
Yeah, once I got the opportunity to work with PayPal, I was super excited. I use PayPal. That's my way of sending money to my family, my friends, and even like they got the pool feature on PayPal where
Oh,
you got say you got like a tailgate or you got some type of
right.
party going on, and you don't know if people are gonna send you money back. You just make a pool, everyone pours into that pool, and you guys pay with that pool of money. So like all those different features that PayPal has to offer is just a great way to be able to utilize it. And that's what makes me so excited to work with PayPal.
Hell yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I want to know if you can give me some scouting reports on some guys you've been going up either against or playing with in practice that we're gonna see in this year's draft. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, first one. cornerback, Ephesians Prysock. What does
Yeah.
he do right? Why should an NFL team draft him?
Ephesians Price, one, he plays his size. He's a 6'4" corner, lengthy. He got speed. He's very patient. He knows how to sit on routes. And not only that, like he can move,
Yeah.
he has great recovery speed if he is beat. He's always around the ball. And he's always around the ball. That's one thing about Efi as well. He's a ball magnet. So that's why I think a team should bet on him.
Okay. Another cornerback, guy I've been watching since his Arizona days, moves up to the Pacific Northwest. You already know I'm talking about Takario Davis. What is he doing right? Why should the team draft him?
Yeah, him and Efi are like twins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the same guy, but Bobo, man, that off man that he has, it's a good one. And the way he plays is very just methodical. He understands his body and he understands his presence. He has a good way of almost kind of trying to manipulate a receiver into making them do what he wants them to do. So that's what I would say about Bobo. And they're both high. He's a very highly competitive guy, never running away to compete. He's always there for if you beat him, he's gonna be right back there with you the next play, ready
Yeah.
to ready to compete.
Okay. So as a wideout, how can you tell when you're being baited into something versus, oh, I got this, I won?
Like a catch technique. Like, DBs love to play that catch technique, sit at 5 or 10 yards, and they want to just sit on your route, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'll make you think, okay, I'm gonna backpedal, I'm gonna take 2 steps back off the ball, but then, they'll sit there and they'll try to jump that stop route that you got at
Yeah.
10 12.
Okay. One more score scouting report. Guy who plays out of your backfield. We're talking about Jonah Coleman. Why should Jonah Coleman be an NFL running back?
Yeah, Jonah Coleman, he's a great leader. He's a
Yeah.
guy in the room who's gonna always make sure everything's running right. He's always gonna make sure that, what's not done right is going to be addressed. And, he's a guy who has high energy. He's always at practice, running around, jumping around. You could tell he just loves to be around the game of football.
Mhm.
He's a tough runner. We call him a bowling ball. At least I call him the bowling ball. Always bouncing off, and he always finishes his runs. He's always trying to finish with running through somebody. And then also, like it's pass protection. He can
Yeah.
pass protect, and as a receiver, I appreciate that because that opens up big plays for us on the back end.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I feel like I got a bunch of your time here. I really appreciate it, man. Denzel, those were some great answers, and I feel like we learned a lot about you and a lot about that Huskies film room. So thank you so much. Thank you to PayPal for setting this up, and man, good luck next week. I'm just hoping for the best for you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.